Hi guys, I'm Van Orn and this is another Dragonheir Silence God video. Welcome back to the channel. We are in the final phase of the season. The end boss is finally here, is live on live server, and we are fighting from yesterday for the ranking basically. With our 6 team trying to push as much damage as possible. So without further ado, let's jump into the boss and have a look what it does and how we are building our teams for this fight. The boss has a bunch of skills, a lot of them, and all you need to know really is 3 things. The boss places a lot of debuff on you: healing prohibition, buff prohibition, healing reduction, buff prohibitions, and shield prohibition. He dispels buff from you, so you need to be careful when you're placing your buff. You can't buff your shields when you have buff prohibition, so you need to remove the buff prohibition if you want to place shields when the buff is up. And at the end, with the last ability, the ultimate, if you don't have a buff on you, he's going to push back your turn meter, messing up with your comps. That's pretty much everything you need to know really of this boss. He does all AoE, and one of them is going to do more damage on your champions if they are close together. Nothing else. It's a lot of skills, a lot of wording, a lot of stuff for just this. When you know this, you can tackle this boss, and it's actually quite easy. The damage are lower compared to season 2, but the way we are building our team to do this boss, it's easier compared to last season. You only need 1 support really for most of the team and 4 DPS, and you can keep your team alive as long as you can make it work with the gear, with the artifact and everything. So let me jump into the camp over here. So I show you my team that I've been basically using from yesterday and refining today to try to get this event running for me. Now, the scores are decent, nothing crazy. I'm not well, so as you can see, I've done around 655 million today, 1.2 billions in 2 days. As Wales doing that score in 1 day with all the teams over 200 million. That's not my case. I am not well. I am very much Nemo and the Riff at the moment, but this is what I can do. I've been trying to push teams that also you guys can replicate. They are not free to play. I'm not gonna have that claim. Some of them are basically replicable. If you are free to play, you can use different artifacts, you can use different champions. Some of them are only epics and rare. Some of them use free champions that you should have. But let's start from the first one, which is the least free to play, is the very pay to win one, and I'm using Shadow. This team does 155 millions. It is pretty crazy. As the first team I start working yesterday because I knew it was going to do a good score, and we are using Tia, an epic, surprisingly one that keep the team alive for the entirety of the fight, and she is the one that can do it, and she's the first one that for me has been able to do it. We are using Asphalta Aura with increased attack 30%, and Tia is going to do basically the block buff twice for rotation and healing with the battle skills. So we're building her with high HP. We're building her with the everlasting diamond. If you don't have it, you can use the mirror to increase the healing, and we don't worry about accuracy. We just give skill haste. We get her rotating below the 15 seconds over here, so she can do it twice per rotation. She heals the team, she protects it, she buffs so we don't get the turn meter pushed back, even though Shadow really doesn't have a turn meter for the ultimate, but the other she does, so it's needed. The rest of the champions are all Shadow, as I said. I'm using Taldi to apply the decreased defense. I've given him the Monolith set to increase a bit of the healing if someone drop low. He has the Monolith set. He healed himself, he keep the team alive and going. I might try to push a little bit more damage maybe tomorrow if I can keep him alive and see if it works. And then I'm using Daphne. Daphne is built with high attack because she shared parts of the attack with the ultimate with Ozil. She's going to jump into Ozil, sharing 35% of the attack. So I want her to have a crazy attack. She's over 8k attack over here. And she has 2 pieces, the Emperor, 2 pieces of Warrior. Attack everywhere basically. This stuff, it's quite crazy. Some of them have triple rolls on attack, and yeah, pretty good stuff. So the 2 DPS over here are Asphalta and Ozil. The best gear set for this boss is Aerial, which is a shame. I've been preparing all season for the Emperor because on the other boards, the Chaos Shadows, all those one where we were using the Emperor set. So I've used all my Philosopher's Stone to bring my gear in Emperor set, and obviously we get to the boss, and the boss take more damage if you have Aerial set. It was expected, but obviously this is the situation we are, and I don't have a crazy good gear. But nevertheless, Ozul is built quite well with the Rivertrix route, so it helps basically building up a bit of HP, quite a lot of attack. He does a lot of damage. I'm using on him the Finality Abomination Gauntlets because it doesn't use his ultimate, he uses it only once, and then he's going to use the rest for the rest of the fight. He's going to use battle skills and the normal attacks. So this one or the Carnage will not make any difference really because the decreased defense is up all the time. But I wanted this one because it has a good rolls on crit rate and attack is probably my best gauntlet, and so I wanted to use this one. On Asphalta instead, I'm using the Carnage because she uses the ultimate every single rotation. She uses it a lot of the time, and she's built for damage. Obviously, you try to push crit rate, crit damage, attack. She's good. She does a lot of damage. And on this comp, though, something that you need to know when we're having a look at the timing is that the first rotation you need to manual. You need to replace Ozu over here, otherwise it will spawn somewhere here. And you need to use the first rotation Asphalta over here in the same position. And she's going to keep bouncing back and forward in this position over here, but that doesn't really matter. Asphalta is going to jump into Ozu, and the comp is basically going to be placed in the shapes separate from each other so we take less damage. For the timing, very complicated. We only timing Tia. She has at 11 and 15, and this will keep the team alive, covered with the invisibility, debuff prohibition, and she's gonna basically keep the team going for 8 minutes. We're making 155 million with this team, prepaid to win, and crazy if you think about it, because nobody would have thought about Tia before this boss went live. And I had to thank Odd One because I got this comp basically from him, talking to him, and he showed me how to make Tia work, and then I work on the rest of the team myself to try to get this team going. I don't think he has the same lineup, but he used the same champion to run it. Second team could work in the same principle with one support, but for some reason I can't make it work with my team. I saw Gorax doing this comps with only Nathaniel. I saw some screenshot online of some comps running with only Estella, built with high HP and enlightenment to do the healing. I can't make it work, and so I'm running 2 champions to support 3 DPS. I'm gonna try even more tomorrow morning if I have time. I didn't have much time between yesterday and today, so this is the comp I'm running so far. Does over 123 million, and I think, if I'm not wrong, I'm gonna put a screenshot up anyway. And the way this comp is basically used, it's slightly different because we are keeping the teams a little bit closer, because we are using the Puppeteer set on Nathaniel to share the defense and keep the team alive. He has Puppeteer with high defense because you share that portion of the defense. He has the Moonlight Mantle and high enlightenment basically to heals and grow the shield as much as possible. With Estella instead, we're using the Horn to try to heal more our team and increase the damage they do. She's a very good healer right now. I know she was, she had a bad reputation, but she's now absolutely amazing. I'm using the Moonlight Mantle on her, and she has the protection set. I might try to change something here around tomorrow to see if I can heal even more and if I can keep the team alive just on her. For now, this is what I got. Garrett is my decreased defense supplier. He has the Witches Remain, aerial set, good crit rate, enough accuracy to do the job. He is going to bump up his attack, so he's still going to pump out a good amount of damage, even built like this. We're going to use his aura because we want more damage, and so the increased crit damage over here is really good. Suta, it's one of my main DPS over here with the Silver Horseshoe, aerial set, 80% if you can, sorry, 70% crit rate if you can is all she need. She's going to do a lot of damage through her passive and casting those hits over and over every time she crit. She's going to basically trigger even more Evelius, which is my other DPS, which is running instead the RP nails and is running the unclean set to increase his direct damage and his enlightenment, which is where his damage is scaled the most. Yeah, it's high attack, high enlightenment. He's a good build, good damage dealer. And as far as timing goes, we are here using a 14-second and 30 rotations for the Stella for the healer. Well, on Nathaniel, we're using 30.5, 30 because we want that buff, as I said in the beginning, to avoid the boss to push back our turn meter. And so here we go. And we're placing the decrease defense second 29 every 30 seconds. Evelius at 28, 30 because he really doesn't need decreased defense, so you shoot it before the decreased defense, ignore 100% of defense. And then Suta, which is the one hitting on the decreased defense, is at 30.4 every 30 seconds. I want Evelius also to hit before because basically boss build up, damage reduction 5% every time you touch it, but he resets every time he uses skills. So if I'm using these two skills before the ultimates, the boss will take off the damage reduction. When Suta hit, he's going to basically take 5% more damage in this case, or 10% depending on how many hits he got. So this is the timing. You saw the placement. This team does 123 millions, as I said. Quite good. Could be improved if I can run 4 DPS. And don't forget that you can switch these DPS for someone else. You can use Nimbus, Shagrol, Shelter, for example. Just use almost the same gear. You can substitute Evelius with Shagrol, Shelter, sorry. They are built pretty much in the same way. You maybe use the ink instead of the RP nails. You can use Shagrol instead of Suta. Also melee DPS, good aura in this case. You can bring him. You can use Nimbus instead of Garrett to place the decreased defense, and you're going to have a decent team. I'm not sure if they're able to push 100 million, but probably they're going to be there around. Dauntless does a lot of damage even with the epics. Shelter and Shagrol in particular are very, very good DPS. The next team up is going to be a totally free-to-play comp where you have a free legendary that everybody has and is able to do over 100 million, 106 million in particular. We are using this comp with Garius. It is free to play as long as you don't ask me to show you the artifact. I'm using obviously legendary artifact over here, and we are using the gatekeeper on Garius. I hope that by season 3 you've been able to put at least 3 dupes. So you got your Witches Remain, Hourglass, and the Gatekeeper stuff. If you've managed to get those 3, you are pretty set with a lot of teams. You can run other wards, chaos bosses, and endgame pretty easily. Garius in particular benefits from this one because he heals massively, and then when he hover heals, you're going to create this massive shields. You're going to keep your team alive. And this team as well, we're running the crit damage aura from Foley, not the defense one from Garius, and he's still keeping the team alive. We are using 4 wild to basically do as much damage as possible. We're using Tia with a triple hit ultimate to place the decreased defense. She's an aerial set. She does a decent damage, nothing crazy, but she helps the team proc in the wild, and so they boost the damage from the other. We're using Foley, that she brings the aura. She has my Silver Star Horseshoe aerial. She's doing decent damage as well. The runes are helping because on fire, for some reason, I have good one. We're using Erich, underrated legendary that everybody has. I'm using the Eyeball of the Giant Ham aerial set. Decent crit rate, decent crit damage. He's gonna do good damage. And the most damage though is gonna come from Tononon. She is absolutely amazing. Rivatrix root because she's an epic, so she builds more attack, more HP, keeping her alive. She only needs 80% crit rate, so don't go overboard over there. She has a passive that also build up the crit damage. So build a good attack, crit damage will come over time, and she will build a lot of damage. But use crit damage and crit damage on the glove and the negative positive runes. Don't look too much for crit damage on the rest. Just build attack and crit rate, and you're gonna do a lot of damage out of her. She's 210, plus she builds an extra 5% times 20. 20 times 5 is 100, so you get another 100 crit damage on top of whatever you build. If your attack is good, she does a lot of damage. As timing goes, this one is pretty much the same. We're going to have Garius free to go to keep the team going. Decrease defense 29 seconds 30, and all the DPS are eating at 30.5. So all you need to know over here is all we need. Basically, we're hinting a lot on that exceeding damage that the boss gets after basically the ultimate, and that's it. We are squeezing, as I said, 105, 106 million from this comp. Quite good for our accessible comp. The next one up is also very accessible, only epics and rare. Hopefully you get them. We are still using legendary artifact, but this is the comp that everybody should be able to do. And if you're lucky and if you have Shinna, well, you can run this comp to a much higher scoring, because obviously you don't need to run the comps in the way I do it with Rava. You can just get a better aura from Shinna. You can get a lot of damage. You can load your champions with crystal. You can bring Sadik instead of Nord, squid out more damage. In my case, instead, I need to run Furba to keep the team alive. I need to run Rava to place the decreased defense and come with an aura, because if I take Rava out for Sadik, I only have the HP aura and my damages will be even lower. This team has been able to do around 98 million, I think, 97, 98 million. I gotta put it up on the screen. Furba keep the team alive. He has the horn to increase the damage when he heals. He creates this nexus that constantly heal the team, and therefore the team is always top up with health and increased damage. The ultimate will place the decrease attack. We are barely there with the accuracy, but we have it. It helps the team keeping up. There is a good defense to increase the heals, and all you need to do to keep your team alive is having him built like this in protection, Moonlight Mantle, and you're ready to go. The rest of the team is just DPS, with exception of Rava, as I said, which bring the crit damage aura, which help on my team doing damage. I have her in a Puppeteer set to share a bit of defense with Furbat and with Bledin, which used to fall down quite easily. Witches remain, enough accuracy to do the job is all you need from Rava. You can try build her a bit more damage if you want and see if she's still alive. She stay alive, and maybe you can squeeze a bit more damage. Bledin is built with damage this time, Manticore, aerial set, Carnage Gauntlet, crit damage, attack, all the good stuff, 100% crit rate. So is going to cast this Ice Crystal on the highest attack champion, which is going to be our Gertine, our main source of damage. She has the Rivatrix root. Being an epic, attack will be even higher, HP will be higher. She has the aerial set with the Carnage Gauntlet, 80% crit rate. She does a lot of damage. And the next one up is going to be our Nord. Nord also casts a lot of crystals from ultimate and battle skills through the passive. Basically, every time it casts battle skills, cast again by consuming 1 stacks. Whenever the hero deal damage, there is a 20% chance of granting 1 stack of ice crystals to the Ice Blast ally with the highest attack other than the hero. So it's going to cast basically on Gertine. So Gertine is going to have plenty of ice crystals all the fight. And so I've built him with attack speed. He has the Wine of the Dragons artifact and the Rhapsody set. High crit rate, high crit damage, decent crit damage, not that high really, but the guy does the job, and he brings an extra 12-13 millions of damage and is a decent comp. As timing goes, we have pretty much the same situation we saw so far. with the decreased defense happening in 28 seconds because the animation is a bit longer. I want to be sure that the decreased defense is up. I want to be sure that we're hitting the boss when the increase or decreased damage, I should say 5% is gone off after you use the skills. So there's 30.4, 30.5. Those are the timing to use for do the damage. And this is the team for Ice Blast. Decent comp, 97 million. Decent results for a comp made of epics and rare. The next team up is also free to play, achievable if you have Ardred. She can keep your team alive for the entirety of the fight by herself, and you can bring 4 DPS. If you're lucky to get one of the legendary that does burns, well, you should do a lot more damage than I do, but I've been able to push 83 million with this comp. I'm gonna show you positioning and gear. I'm gonna place everyone in the same position that it was when I did the fight, and there we go. We using a Ratchet increased crit damage aura because we don't need increased defense. And the way we're going to keep everyone alive with Ardred is basically building her like this, which is a very odd way of building if you ask me, but she is with the Mona Lisa set to increase their healing. She has a defense Moonlight Mantle. She is built with skill haste, so defense and skill haste on both the runes. You need to have her quick because she's basically keeping the team alive through her battle skills, healing everybody, and then she needs to cast the ultimates at least twice as rotation. And we're using the hourglass to do so. It's already 15 seconds, below 15 seconds with the build I have. I want this ability to go off as often as possible. I want this battle skill to go often as possible, and so I give her the hourglass. I can probably use a different one and see if I can squeeze this more damage, maybe the horn, and have a look at that tomorrow. But for now, this has been running smoothly, and the rest of the team is there to do damage. I'm using Biggs, a rare, to place the decreased defense. He hits 5 times on the ultimate, and I'm trying different sets and see if they work on burns, because burns does also some derivative damage in certain cases, and so I'm trying to see if I can squeeze more damage. I'm using Lyle, or Lilo as I used to call him, with Ariel and the Rivatrix route. I've tried to swap around the artifact, but this seems to work better for me because Ratchet is built with the Silver's Horseshoe, Ariel set, good crit rate, good crit damage. He does almost 3 million damage when he does his ultimate, exploding all the burns that breaks bring. And he's going to have the increased attack from Parzival ultimate that gives 20% increased attack to all the burns. I give him the Manticore because I want him to has a triple hit on the battle skills to push as much damage as possible from that one. Seems to work. And the timing is the following. We having Ardred free to go to keep the team top up with increased defense and the blessing, resistance, all the good stuff. And the rest of the team does the same that we've seen in the others. Decreased defense at 28-30. You can do 29-30. Doesn't matter really. And then the attacks are happening right after the boss basically resets himself. We're getting the increased attack. We're getting Ratchet's hitting, and then we get Lyle exploding what is left. If there is burn left, he does 500,000 per hit roughly, so it's still quite good. You only explode 1 burn, so you don't need much up. That's why it goes for last after a Ratchet. This team, as I said, 83 million, nothing to run home about it, but it's still a decent team for an achievable free to play, good scoring to start from if you're looking for maybe a 6th team with scraps. The last team, it's something that I came across watching a video today of a good friend, Wilson Bucks, that was showing his teams, and it was showing a corrosion team without Rook, doing, I think, around 70 million. I don't have the same champions. I have also Whisk. I thought I might use Fenja to keep the team alive, and it worked. So here we are with my team for the last and 6th comp, and we are going to use corrosion without Rook. We don't have any aura different than enlightenment, and Fenja is one of those champions that can keep your team alive for the entirety of the fight. If you don't have her, you can probably run Exandra in combination with Aladium. You probably need 2 support. You're going to lose one of the DPS. Your score is going to get lower, but you can get a team out of this with any combination of corrosion, as you're going to see. The way Fenja worked to keep the team alive is protection, Moonlight Mantle, a bit of skill haste, and I gave her the Solar Knight Horn to boost the damage of my team. She was keeping the team alive anyway, and so why not try to squeeze a bit more damage from them. I'm going to use Dargo to apply decreased defense. He has the Witches Remain, and he's built with still decent crit rate in aerial set. He has a super slow animation, so when we're going to come to the timing, you're going to notice that he is doing his ultimates very, very early. Then I'm using 3 DPS over here. Asphalta, I've give her the Elite Key from the Famiander or Pillar Trial. I think it was Pillar Trial this season, because she basically converts to up to 1,500 of her attack, the damage and corrosion. So I want her to have a quite high attack, and that's why I gave her this one, and that's why I pushed also the Emperor sets on her, because having high attack, I was hoping that she was doing more damage. I might try to revert to a more standard DPS in builds tomorrow, but I needed to get this video out, and so this is what I got so far. She's also converting some of the attack, some of the skill haste into attack using this gauntlet, the energy harvester. This gives her more attack, obviously, so we convert more corrosion. And then we have Whisk built as a main DPS. Crit rate, crit damage, Horseshoe, Silver Star. Good DPS. The builds are quite crappy because the runes were terrible. I don't have good crit rate, crit damage runes with subs crit rate. I think I have only one, which is this one that has no rules on crit rate. Obviously, I only have 2 attack negative runes in the entire account. I haven't sold any, and then I have only 2 for some reason. I don't have any with crit rate, and so Sabrina over here is built with Rivatrix root and epic rune. I couldn't get anything better from. And I finished all my Philosopher's Stone, so she needs to take what she can. I'm going to farm more dungeons tonight, trying to see if I can get some decent negative rune for maybe trying to grow the damage on this team, and maybe try to push more aerial sets and see if I can do more damage with it. The timing is pretty much the same you've seen so far. Fenja, it's free to go. She does her ability every time she wants, so she keeps the team top up and alive. We're using the decreased defense at 25 here because the animation is so long that I need to push it as early as 25 seconds. Maybe 26 will still work. I just rather push it earlier than later, and then finding out that animation is too slow. And all the DPS are hitting at 30.5 like we've seen before, nothing different. This team can run all the way up to 85 million. Decent scoring. And let me show you my team in action, because I've already saved all my scoring for today, so you see that I'm not lying. My teams are locked in and the damage is real. These are my damage for the day. You can see 83 million over here. I pushed it to 85, but I didn't save to try to re-record it, and it's now lower. 88 million, 97, 106, 123, and 154 million.7 over here, for a total of 652 million for the day, 1.2 millions, and rank 68 for now. I might drop a few more position, but this is everything for what I got so far. These are my team. So let me know in the comment down below if you've seen some very expensive mistakes that I've done in terms of score. If you've seen something that I can improve, please let me know. I always want to get better. And if you want to share with me your comments, you can either do it in the comments down below in this video, or you can jump on Discord. There is a link down in the description. We have a channel dedicated to the endgame where my little grinding community of close to free-to-play or low-spender players share idea and team and timings for tackling bosses and dungeons as best as possible. Now is everything, guys, and until the next one, have fun.